Good morning and welcome back to A Closer Look. I have a guest here now named Nathan Vaughn. He is owner of State Farm Insurance and a candidate for City Mayor of Kingsport. Thank you for being with me.
You're so very welcome, and I am so pleased to be on A Closer Look.
Well, thank you. So tell us about Nathan Vaughn. What got you involved in politics? Tell us about your interest in Kingsport.
I've been involved in Kingsport for an awful long time. When my kids were in school, I was involved in schools. I was on PTA council. I was just always involved in the community. And later on, I developed a real interest in the city. I served on the Planning Commission, served as the chairman of the Planning Commission. I also served as an alderman and served 2 years as vice mayor. So I've been extremely involved in local politics. Later on, I ran for state representative of the 2nd District in Kingsport, and I served 6 years in Nashville. And so one of the things I tell people is I am as prepared as anyone to be mayor of Kingsport because of the vast experience I have had in this community. There is no other candidate for mayor or, for that instance, for any other local position that has the basic experience that I have. No one in this city has served as an alderman or as mayor, and also has the experience in Nashville. And some of the things that I see right now, we have a real issue associated with the lack of understanding and communication as how the city and the state interface in some big issues, such as the ballot issue that's associated with our hospital right now. One of the things that I think a lot of people did not understand about the ballot issue is that there is a process in the merger of hospitals called the COPA process, which is basically run by the state of Tennessee through the Department of Health. And that COPA process is what allows two hospitals to come together in a merger. They have to have a plan that says these are the things that we're going to do. And the whole purpose for the COPA process is to protect the interest of citizens. And so it's extremely important, and I think we dropped the ball in terms of understanding exactly how that process was going to affect our hospital. And I think right now, many people are concerned about what's going on and the quality of the care that they're going to receive at our hospitals.
Very good. So that is like your main platform. Is that your main concern for the city right now?
That is the number one issue. But one of the things I tell people is that I never have just one issue. I've never been a one issue type candidate. The theme of my campaign is HEART, and HEART stands for healthcare, economic opportunity, accessibility, roads, and taxes. So those are the 5 issues. And I tell people, I have always had as a theme of my campaign, a candidate for all the people. And this time, my theme is a heart for all of the people. Because I think right now, when you look at what we're facing as a community, I find many people telling stories about some of the tragic events that they have had in terms of going to the hospital and the kind of care that they have received. And that is really unfortunate because Holston Valley Hospital, many of the people in this community consider it to be their hospital.
Sure.
This hospital was not built by big money interests, the private sector. Holston Valley Hospital was built by the citizens of this community. Holston Valley started out being a part of the community chest. People gave their nickels and dimes and dollars to build this hospital. It used to be Holston Valley Community Hospital. And it was then taken over by Wellmont. Now it's been taken over by Ballot. And the people in this community feel as though they basically have been somewhat abandoned in terms of no one asking them what do they want and what do they expect in terms of the kind of hospital care, the kind of health care that they think they should receive in this community. And I think they feel right now as though they've been abandoned to some extent. So I think this is a good opportunity to put these issues on the table and let Ballot know that people are concerned. Now, I understand they're now in a communication type kind of situation. In fact, they're sending out little cards that basically say they are committed to Kingsport. This should have happened at the beginning of the process, not after the process has gone this far and is to some extent at a point where it will soon be wrapped up. And I think if Ballot does not have the support of the community, I don't think the hospital can be successful, or at least as successful as it can be.
Well, that's very interesting.
The second major issue I see in this community right now is economics. We have a situation where we have an unemployment rate of less than 4%, yet the average wage earner earns 12% below the state average. The income in Kingsport is 12% below the state average. It's 28% below the national average. So people in our community are working hard. They're doing everything they need. Some of them, they have to have 2 and 3 jobs in order to make ends meet.
Oh, yeah.
When you have low unemployment, normally you have rising wages. That has not happened in Kingsport. We still have relatively low wages and we have low unemployment. So the people in our community are not sharing in the goodness that is going on overall in this country. Right now, we are facing some of the best times in our country economically that we can expect to experience. Now, economics is cyclical. We are going to see at some point in time a downturn in our economy. And if the people right now are experiencing some tough times economically in our community, what's going to happen when the tough times come? And so I'm concerned that we need a lot more diversity in our overall economic community. I think we need to make sure that we stabilize our healthcare industry. That's one thing I think sometimes people don't understand. Healthcare in our community is all about economics. When you look at the people who use our hospitals, people from Eastern Kentucky, people from Southwest Virginia, they consider Holston Valley and Indian Path to be their healthcare system. And so those folks come here from long distances. They have family who come. They eat meals in our restaurants. They stay in our hotels. This is part of our economics. And if in the event we see a downturn in the overall quality and capability of Holston Valley, I think we really will also see some economics downturns. One of the things that really concerns me, I continue to hear that we are losing experienced doctors who are high quality people who really add a real benefit to our community. When those individuals leave, who is going to replace them? In many instances, it's going to be less experienced folks who basically, in many instances, are in training, who definitely don't have the experience that many of the doctors who are going to leave have had. So it's a real concern for this community as to just what is going to happen in our community economically. And I think it's important. One of the other big things I think is important is that people have access to their government. Accessibility, and that's always been a strength of mine. People have, when I served on the Board of Mayor and Aldermen before, people knew they could call me, they could come by and see me. And so it was extremely important for them to know that I was there. So.
Well, that 12 minutes went by just a little too quick. We have a lot to talk about, and I wish we had more time. I do want to remind people that early voting begins May 1st through May 16th at the Sullivan County Election Commission in Blumpville. Early voting starts May 9th through May 16th at the Civic Auditorium in Kingsport. And the general election is May 21st.
That's correct.
So we want to encourage everybody to come out and vote. And
Yes.
thank you so much, Nathan, for being here
Thank
today.
you for having
Nathan
me.
Vaughn, mayor candidate for Kingsport, Tennessee. Good luck.
Thank you.
And I will be back next week with another edition of A Closer Look. Hope to see you then.